ability is the power or skill to do something. It is more like a license to take over. And anytime ability is underutilized, failure becomes inevitable. It is on this note that we are bringing you this edition of Youth Focus on Aneke Television. It is the program that cares about the young people as it corrects the errors found in the behavior of the young people in all of the things they do. My name is Chukwamaka Obasi. To achieve this, we will make opinions, we will give commendations, motivations, criticisms, and lots more. Don't forget to find us in our social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, X, and TikTok. Thank you so much for being there. Our topic for today is students' ability to pass exams. And of course, in the studio with me today are two young people who have not only passed through their secondary school, they have also passed through the 4 walls of university. And as students, they passed all their exams. That is why they are here today. Thank you so much for being there. From my left is a chartered accountant. She is Petronila Nchedo Inagolo. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
She's a chartered accountant working with the National Institute for Cultural Orientation. And I have Stephen Chima. He is a lawyer, he is a writer, and personal development coach. You are welcome on the show.
Thank you.
Sir.
All right, let me begin with you, Petronila. What's the core essence of examination in schools?
Okay, thank you for that question. I think that the essence of examination is to test students, to test their understanding of what they've been taught. It's a way of assessing how good their teacher is and how they understand what the teacher teaches them. When you assess them with exams, some may do well, some may not do well, and there could be a lot of reasons for that.
Okay, thank you so much. Steve, I don't know if you agree less to the definition Petronila gave to this.
Yes, of course. The definition she gave was well on point. And just to add a little more to it, examination has become a very powerful tool to test the knowledge of students. And I will also say that it is sort of a feedback mechanism that schools have arranged in order to be able to, from time to time, assess the extent to which the students have been able to assimilate the knowledge they've been taught, the courses they've been put through. So to that degree, I am going to say that examination is a very defining mechanism in schools. In fact, in some schools, in some institutions, examinations are seen as a festival or a ceremony on its own. It's sort of the biggest thing happening in school. Everybody may be taking school easily, softly, until the day the exams are announced, and you find that people just get serious overnight because of how powerful that particular exercise has become. And sometimes people come up with some kind of questions and arguments. Why do we even need exams?
Thank you so much. I think you are giving us a broader kind of definition to what examination is all about. That's very good. Petronila, could you please share with us what your ability to pass exams was those days in your school?
Okay, secondary school, right?
The secondary school, university, your ability is your ability.
Okay, I've been someone who knows that whatever I do, I give my best. So when it comes to school, I was that child that would go to school, pay attention. I was one of those who sit in front. My mom is a teacher, she still is. So you cannot afford to fail. You cannot afford to fail. So I go to school, come back, I try to do my assignments, and what I don't understand, my mom helps out. And then when I got to secondary school, being a border, I was able to take advantage of the times for prep, which is the time you have to read, do your assignment, and all that. But one thing I know is that everybody have different levels of understanding. I'm someone who, maybe if I have an exam, I can start reading when I see my exam timetable. So when I see exam timetable, I know that this thing is here. There is no playing anymore. But then there are people that will need to start studying when school starts, knowing that they don't grasp things easily. So you have to know where you belong and then plan yourself very well. So not like I don't read at all, but I probably maybe joke around studies. But once I see exam timetable, both in my secondary school, my university days, and currently,
you sit up.
I sit up. I just know that there is no playing around. So that helped me, and also managing my time very well. Okay. A lot of people read with exam time, they have timetable for studies. Maybe today they are going to study mathematics, tomorrow it's English, and it works for some. But for me, I can pick up anything that interests me and read. But that is me. But I will advise anybody, if you can, read with timetable. It helps you cover more, because my ability is not your ability.
All right, thank you so much. That's a very apt one. Steve, she talked about time management as a student. What effect does that have to a student who wants to have that ability or robust ability to pass exams at all time?
Time management is at the core of exam success, and I dare say success in anything at all. If you don't have the ability to manage your time effectively, it is going to have an impact in the outcome of what you do, be it exam, be it any other thing at all. So in the context of student life, some of the people that are in secondary school, or even if you are in the university, in the higher institutions, you discover that there are multi-layered activities that happen in school. It's not just teaching and learning, so to say. Those who she said she was a boarder, I believe you were not just going to class and coming out and reading your books. No. There are so many other activities that are structured in every institution in order to enable the students to have a balanced life. So when you have to deal with multiplicity of tasks, it is very essential that you now learn how to manage all of those activities so that you have time stipulated for your studies and time for other things. And that is why when you talk about time management, any student who has not learned that art of managing time well is definitely going to probably delve into non-essentials. Like in the tertiary institution, there are so many things that can occupy your time. Social activities, political activities, in some cases, academic activities, extracurricular stuff. So time management is your ability to understand that the principal reason why I am here is to study and to make good grades, all right? And you cannot talk about time management without having a timetable. She talked about timetable. I think I am part of the people that it works for a lot. It is very difficult to track my activities if I don't intentionally put them down on paper so that I will be able to follow them. And that is why sometimes I fall out of those structured activities, but I know I have to redesign the timetable so that I will keep following it. All right. So it is your ability to say, this is Monday, and these are the things that I'm going to do. I have time to study. Some people, they study most effectively at night. Others, it works for them in the morning or during the daytime. So if studying works for you more during the daytime, that means you are going to put a greater chunk of your time to study during the day. If it works for you at night, you are going to have to put greater chunk of your time to study at night. So that is one essence of time management. And also understanding that while you are putting out time to study, there are also other activities. For example, church. For example, human relationship, for example, belonging to clubs in school. All of these things are the things that must be captured in your timetable, so that you give a little bit of your time to all of these things that will also make you
Let's
a
take it from there.
complete
So that
person.
you give a little bit of your time to all things you have. If you're joining us now, it's Youth Focus on Aneke TV. My name is Chukwuemeka Obasi, and our topic for today is students' ability to pass examination. Are you a student? Are you intending student? However it may be. We are moving on, and I have wonderful guests here. One is a chartered accountant working with the National Institute for Cultural Orientation. She is Petronila Inagolo Nchedo. Thank you so much for coming. And I have Stephen Chima, who is a writer, a lawyer, and a personal developmental coach. Thank you so much. Let's continue. I was going to ask you, Petronila, when you said you are the type that begins to read as soon as you saw your examination timetable. Yes, how did that work for you? Do you think you managed your time well, having waited till you saw the examination timetable and you started reading?
Like I said, not like I don't study at all. I read, but not with that intent that exam is there. You know, when exam timetable comes out, you just know that you have to do this. So if you used to read a page a day, you know that you have to increase it. You can decide, oh, today I'm going to deal with this. I'll touch this course and touch this course. I'll touch this subject and touch this subject. So I do more intense studies when I see my exam timetable. Otherwise, every other thing I do before then is just, you're a student, you know that once in a while you have to open your books. Okay. But then it works for me because I assimilate things easily. Okay. And so it was easier for me. Right. But then, like I said, while at it, I have to manage my time very well, because waiting for exam timetable to be out and you don't manage your time, you're shooting yourself in the head.
I understand that in your own way you managed your time and it worked for you.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Stephen Chima, let me come to you once again. What do you have to say about this popular saying that exam is not the true test of knowledge?
Exam is not the true test of knowledge. I've heard it, time and again from different places, in the mouth of so many people. And sometimes that argument is fronted in order to dissuade some people who believe that intelligence begins and ends in the classroom. Or people who think that, oh, I have a good grade, and that means I'm the best of all the people here. And I believe that we should balance that argument, all right? When people say that examination is not the true test of knowledge, I believe that statement to the extent that there are so many other indices with which to test the knowledge or the intelligence of a person outside of classroom exam situation that most students find themselves in. Personally, I believe that intelligence, or what you call knowledge, is multi-layered, all right? It is not just your ability to write exam and pass it, okay? And that is why I believe that there are so many people who may not be able to have that level of cognitive intelligence to pass an exam in a classroom structured situation, but they have competencies in other domains outside of teaching and learning and writing exam and passing it. You have, for example, what I may call social intelligence, that you see somebody who may not be the best in the classroom, but outside the classroom, in a social setting, the person possesses a level of interpersonal intelligence. He can relate with people. He understands the dynamics of relationships. He can land deals that the most intelligent person in the class cannot land, all right? He knows how to coordinate events. And that is a side of intelligence. The person may not have an A in the classroom, all right, but outside the classroom, there are people who are gifted, and that's coming about gifted in music, kinesthetic intelligence. They are very athletic, but they may not be the best in class. So if you put up a test based on biology or mathematics or law, in my own case, and you say the best person from this law exam is the best through and through, that may not be the actual representation of the intelligences of the people that are writing that exam, because there are some conditions, maybe as we go ahead we may come to that, that makes some students to have better grades than others, so several of them.
We
so
shall come to that.
Yes,
We shall of course come to that. Petronilla, I don't know if it is right to believe with Chima that life is multifaceted. Somebody can be good in a classroom and may not be good in other areas.
Yes.
And some other people can be good in other areas as he is itemized and won't be good, particularly in the classroom work and examination. What do you have to say about that?
I agree with him. I'll give an example. You can send someone to school and the person is struggling to understand what he or she is being taught. And the person's exam result, it's always bad. But if you try to nurture that person, you'll find out that there are other areas where that person is striving, doing very well. Somebody may not be good in the classroom and the exam, but the person have what they call Aneke. This person is very good at this. Bring something that is spoiled, the person fixes it. So now, if we begin to nurture people and find out where they thrive better, where they do well, where they have this high level of interest in, and put them in that area, guiding them, even if it's sending them to schools that have to deal on those areas, it's better. So I agree with him. You can send someone to school and she may not do well, but once you enroll that person into a fashion school, you see her do wonders. And same thing applies to some of the men.
Okay, permit me to take it from there. Stephen, for instance, now you are a parent and your child went to school at the end of the term, comes back with a good result. What impression does it create to the child and to you as a parent?
Yes, I think this is probably very obvious at first glance. You have just painted a photograph of a successful student that comes back to the parents and maybe comes back with a good result, maybe a good grade from school. To the child himself, or to the student himself, it sends a lot of message to him. And the first message it sends to him is, oh, I'm good, all right? Passing an exam is success on its own, all right? Especially when you are coming tops of your class. It makes the student to have this level of confidence in himself that I can do well and I have succeeded. And this is evidence that maybe he may be somebody who's gone through sleepless nights trying to study, trying to consult materials to prepare himself very well for that exam situation. It's like God has paid me back, or this is a good result, a reward for my hard work. All right, so that is how the feeling comes off as an achievement, particularly as a very huge achievement to the student. And it also helps him to now begin to have confidence in his strategy, because any strategy that works increases the confidence of the one who has applied it. Maybe his strategy is reading, or like she said, reading after the exam timetable is out, or maybe reading more of past questions and all of that. He's going to believe that this, because anything you did that got you the result worked. So you are going to believe that this strategy had worked. And for the parents, it is simple. They will see it as return on investment. Maybe they've spent so much to pay the school fees of the child. They've spent so much to encourage the person. They've spent resources and all of that. So coming back with that good result, it is going to increase the confidence of the parents where that child is. And it will also encourage them to invest more, because the one they had invested before has come back in a very good way. So, and of course, in the society in which we live, it is more like social validation. Oh, my child is the best. Parents do not hide their children who are doing very well. They are going to tell everybody, oh, my child is first in the class, or he has a first class. Even if you don't ask them, they are going to to bring it and show it to you in your face, so you can at least appreciate what their child has achieved.
Parents are always cheerful, especially when their children come back from school and they made good grades in the examination they have sat for. Thank you so much. Let us observe just a short break. We shall be right back.
Aqua, water. Water is life. Ancient, sacred, pure. It remembers creation and carries cleansing. It can be calm or it can rage, but it always moves. Aqua teaches us to be soft yet strong, to adapt yet remain, to flow around obstacles yet shape even the hardest stone. We came from water. We need water. And sometimes, when words fail and hearts break, only water, falling from our eyes or washing over our skin, can heal what language cannot.
Back from the short break, we are still on the program Youth Focus on Aneke TV. I am Chukwamaka Obasi. And the focus for today is the students' ability to pass exams. And I have two wonderful young people here who are, as a matter of fact, doing justice to this particular topic. I have a chartered accountant who is working with the National Institute for Cultural Orientation. His name, or her name, is Petronila Nchedo Yenagolo. You are welcome once again. And I have Stephen Chima, who is a lawyer, a writer, and a personal development coach. Thank you so much for coming. Let's continue. Before I went on the short break, you were actually giving us the analogy of what happened, the scenario of what happens when a particular child comes back home with a very good result, and the pressure it gives to both the child and the parent. Now, let me come back to you, Petronila. Supposing you're a parent, and your child comes back at the end of the term, presenting to you a very bad result from school as a parent. I know, having known whom your child is, and having known that, yes, examination of schools and classroom may not be the end of the road, that your child still have ability in all the other areas, like we concluded here. Would you, if you have your way, would you ask government to scrap everything about the examination and let people go to different areas where they have experts in?
Okay, no, I wouldn't ask government to scrape examination.
Then what do you do? What would you do as a parent in that situation?
Okay, I already know that a child who failed exam, especially maybe when they put in their best and they failed for one reason or the other, is already low. So at that point, that child needs emotional support. For a child you know that have been putting in good efforts to do well. So I would have to speak with him or her and then try to find out what went wrong. Was it that you didn't finish the exam, you didn't know what to write? What was the problem? Because I would have known the ability of my child from seeing his or her books when they come back from school, maybe 2-3 days in a week or something. So from going through the performance of a child at the end of the week, and if it's a child that is doing well and then returns with a very bad result, I would have to know what went wrong. Now, if it's a child who have been doing very well, results have been very good at the end of the term, and then that one went bad, I would ask the teachers too, what happened to the performance? Did you notice anything? Did you notice that the child became unserious? And then me being the mother of the child would probably have noticed some things from home. So I wouldn't beat the child because he or she failed, but I would find a way to make him or her know that, yes, you failed now doesn't make you a failure. You can do better. And then I can work with that child towards it. If the child needs a lesson teacher, I can get one.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me come back to you, Steve. Why do you think some students do very well in an examination? Other students fail in that same examination in the same class. But before you come to this question, Youth Focus has gone out, met with a lot of people, students, teachers, lecturers, and all of them, and then found why or what each of them thinks that makes some students fail in an examination. Do listen to them.
Students, why they really fail exam is a very big challenge. The attitude, the reading habit, it has really dropped drastically. One of the reasons, the main reason is social media. Social media is the major reason why students, they don't read again. They've deviated from hard copy reading to software. And you know what is software? You are being exposed to either your smartphone or your laptop. Once you open your smartphone, social media will pop up. Notification from social media will come up. They don't read. It's a very big tax. It's a very big challenge to the educational system. I still believe that we'll need to work on it. That's the major challenge. Even if you give them textbook to read, they will not open it. There's a saying that if you want to hide anything for a black man, just put it inside a book. A black man will never open it. And it's affecting the youth. It's affecting our students. And we need to do something drastically before this generation is doomed, which I pray it will not. That's my point.
Okay, I believe that why some students fail exam is because of inadequate planning. This is because some students don't read ahead. They will just wait for that day of examination to read. And in this process, they won't be able to read everything. They won't be able to understand everything at a time. So when they go, because of this, some students will just end up cramming. Then during the exam day, if they forget one headline, they'll forget the whole thing they read. So I believe that if students want to pass the exam, they should read ahead against the exam day.
Well, students fail the exam as a result of so many factors. Some among them include that some students are not serious in their studies. Being a lecturer in the higher institution with experiences, I wish to let you know that some students who are even well bred at home can come to school and join peers who can change their attitude and whatever they are from home and turn to another thing altogether. Even when I was a student, I saw such things, but I ignored them and faced what I come for. So that is the major one. 2, tiredness. I found out the students of this very generation are very weak in studying. Many of them don't have reading culture. And when a child don't develop reading culture from primary school, not even from secondary, it will affect the child, if not corrected in secondary and get to the higher institution. The possibility of failing the exam is always there. So, if a child or a student is in such problem, the next thing is that he will begin to look for people that can help him to intimidate lecturers, to award marks which they didn't deserve, if possible. Which I know that good number of lecturers cannot succumb to that, as long as institutions of higher learning is concerned as at today. So I still maintain the fact that for students to pass exams, they need their time, their talent, their treasure. That is the 3 T's. The treasure I mean is that pay your school fees at Wendu to avoid the distraction. That is where the treasure comes. Because when a child couldn't pay the school fees and hearing that the exam is next week or 3 days coming, when school fees has not been paid, the person will lose total concentration in reading. So I have to give advice to parents or whomever sends a child to school. Please take it as a priority to see that you do all things possible to pay the child's school fees at Wendu. 2, check the child's performance. Ask the child of your results at every semester. Compute, if you can, the GP of your child, no matter the level of education. Children of nowadays, they enter school so early, at early age. There are certain things they cannot control, which is more especially this peer group influence. Many of them cannot control it. And as a parent, if you shy away from asking your child the results, checking the GP of your child, the child may, after 4 years, come back with a fake certificate, which the university does not even award to the child. So my most advice goes to the parents, so that we will be careful and watch our children in whatever we're doing.
I think one of the reasons why students fail in the exam recently is social media. You know, right now we pay more attention on social media than our studies, and most of the students, they venture in TikTok, you know, watching videos online, and they fail to bend down and look at their books, and which some pretend that they are reading through phone, which is their life. So I think that is one of the, for now, that is one of the basic things why students fail the exam: lack of focus and paying attention to social media than their education.
Most times, students are not really prepared for the exams. They are not adequately prepared. They don't know the scope of what they are learning. So when they don't know exactly what to read, they can't actually answer the questions that come out. I think another reason is some students are just carefree. They don't take exams seriously. It's just trivial to them. So when they come, anything they see they write, instead of taking their time to prepare. So when they trivialize exams, there's a very high chance that they will fail that exam.
Wow, those are views of the lecturers, teachers, students that were found the Youth Focus met and interviewed them on this particular issue. But the lecturer said that the reason why some students fail in examination is because of poor reading habits and social media influences. What do you have to say about that? Is that true?
Yes, that is partly why the failure happens, especially now that we're having widespread failure in almost all the exams in institutions of learning. Social media is a very huge factor. You cannot erase that. It's become a foundational reason why this kind of failures happen. Because most of us students have slipped into endless hours of social media use from week to week, and we have little time left to give to our studies. And the kind of structured system of teaching and learning that we have in our school and the examination system that students face is the kind that if you don't read extensively, JAMB for instance, for you to pass, JAMB is not the kind of exam you pass by reading when the JAMB timetable is out. Maybe other people may have different experiences, but based on what I have seen and my interaction with students who have gone through these exams and have shared with me their own experiences, it will take you hours and hours to master, you know, your subject combinations so that you can have a very high score. Those that get the 320, the 350, I can tell you, some of them give in not less than 6 months of daily preparation to get to those results. So when you get very distracted with social media usage, it subtly steals in a huge chunk of time away from you, and that time would have been invested in preparing for your exams. And apart from that, all right, some students pass and some fail because of their readiness before that time, their readiness, previous readiness before
previous
the exam.
readiness.
Previous
We are going
readiness.
to preempt my next question because you, Petronilla, you heard a student that said that students fail exams because of inadequate preparation. That some don't start reading on time, and some others go about cramming. And when they cram and come into the examination, if they miss any particular line, they have missed it all. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I do not think that it is right to cram. to write exam, because I've seen people in exam hall, the moment they forget ease from what they crammed, they are lost. So they begin to look at ceiling, they begin to look at who will help them. It's good to read with understanding, because when you study, you understand what you've read. You're able to put it in your own word, and that way you flow easily when you're writing exam. So I don't think cramming to write exam makes sense. And again, it means that if you cram to write that exam, you didn't gain the knowledge that you're expected to get.
But don't you think it helps some people to even pass their particular exam?
Yeah, it can help you to pass.
At least for the sake of making success in the examination.
It can help you to pass, but then after you pass, that means you don't have that knowledge you're supposed to have. So it's good to pass exam, but it doesn't just end in passing exam.
Okay.
I would like to make a little addition to what she just said. You see, exam success is a result of a lot of strategies. All right. If you study reading techniques, some of the proponents of reading techniques are going to tell you that there are so many ways to read if you want to have success in exams. And part of the things they say is the use of mnemonics, some say cramming, some say long reading. And so these are options that can be explored by a student. I'm going to say, for example, in my experience of writing law exams, I don't think, it is easy to pass a law exam excluding the strategy of cramming. It is not. I don't know how you are going to do that, because there are so many things, literally so many things to put in your head within a little space of time. So even if you have read to understand, okay, there is also, you can also accommodate this cramming strategy, all right? But that should be after you have read. You have read to understand the subject, and then you are cramming for the case of remembering these things for the purpose of the exam. If you cram alone to write an examination, at the end of that exam, I am telling you in all honesty, you are not going to be able to reproduce what you have crammed before you wrote that exam. So cramming can be used as a strategy to pass exam, but it's not a strategy to understand a subject.
Okay. Cramming can be a strategy to pass examination, but it is not a strategy to understand and assimilate what the particular subject is talking about. That is wonderful. Then another lecturer said that students fail examination because of peer group influences. Is that possible?
Peer group influences.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that could be true. Looking at it from the angle that there are a lot of people who make friends when they get to school, but they don't make friends that they share the same values with. So if you come from a background that your parents have taught you very well, brought you up in a good way, and then you go to the university or even secondary school, and then you mix up with people who come from, their morality is zero, they don't have values, they don't even know what values are. You see that if you're not careful, you begin to behave like them. Some of them miss classes, some of them pay mercenaries to write exam for them. So if a student mix up with such people, you see, that is where that peer pressure comes in. Again, you see a smart student, and then you know that it's better to make friends with people who are smart, people who are doing well, people who understand when they are taught. But you choose to make friends with people who play around, who, wherever there is party, they are number one to be there. And some of those people, they are not failures. Some of them read at night. So if you follow someone who goes for every party and then uses his or her night time to study, and you don't read at night, you've seen that you're messing yourself up. I'll give an example. I had a roommate when I was in school. So she's a very social person. she's everywhere. She's well known in school, but she's very intelligent. She doesn't sleep at night. That is when she studies. And when the result is out, you see her having A's. And then people who see her at different parties will not be like, this girl, she's sorted. But you're not close to her. You don't know how she sleeps at night. You don't know what she does at night. It is that night time that she takes to study. But you who goes everywhere with her, you don't study at night. It means that you've led yourself astray.
All right, thank you so much. I think we have established that fact, that peer group influences makes a lot of students fail in examinations. Then, having said that, the same lecturer said that poor reading culture, that if a pupil or somebody didn't inculcate that reading culture in himself or in herself from primary school, that success to examinations for life is inevitable. Don't you think that is a bogus statement?
It sounds like a bogus statement, right? But we have to interrogate the person that said it. Is a lecturer. I am going to give him the credit of having an authority in the field which he has spoken, because probably he has, examined a lot of students in the course of his profession, and I can tell you he understands what he is saying. If you don't know how to read very, very well, you don't build and develop the habit of reading, maybe this is going to be another bogus statement, it will be difficult or even impossible to pass your regular exams. Because part of what is required for exam success is reading. Now, it is not just reading. For so many people and for so many examination situations, coming to class, attending lectures, being present when a subject is taught is a booster to passing exams. Because there are some lecturers, some teachers who are going to contain their questions within the boundaries of what they have taught. They don't go outside the knowledge they've shared in the classroom. So being available to hear them lecture is going to help you to understand their questions when you see them. But it doesn't end there. You have to now go back and do your personal reading by yourself. So that lecturer is very, very correct in what he said. Reading must become an ingrained habit of a student. Even after you are done with school, like some people believe that you finish your final exam and that is the end of books for you. You discover that even in applications in life, in your workplace, in your professional endeavors, you are going to find yourself in circumstances where knowledge is going to bail you out. As a professional doing what you are doing, sir, you must have interrogated or interacted with a lot of materials, books, so that you keep your brain alive. A lawyer, you keep reading for eternity. An accountant, like she is, you are going to keep interacting with knowledge and with material. So, on the level of a student, it is an essential. But even after you are no longer a student, reading is equally an essential. I learned that an average successful CEO studies at least 1 hour a day. You can imagine business success is also dependent upon the knowledge of the entrepreneur. So he is very correct to say that any student who does not read, how else are you going to pass exactly if you don't read?
That is very correct, and we are giving it to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Petronila, let me ask you this one other question. Is it possible that in a class, every student of that class passes examination at the end of the time? What's the possibility? And what could be the magic?
It's possible that every student passes an exam in a class. These days, I no longer see positions like maybe first out of 50, second out of 40 in report cards, unlike it was before. So, but when you look at the average is in the report card. You would be seeing 70, 80, 90 something. So, I believe that when a teacher teaches well and the students are willing and able to learn, it is possible that every student would pass in that class. They may not pass at the same rate, of course. It depends on, it could be that the pass is 70, and then you see that everybody
Depends on
passed.
each
Yes,
student's ability.
it depends
Okay.
on the benchmark
Okay.
of what passing is.
Okay, that's wonderful. Chima, let me come in from this other dimension. How much do you believe that personal belief in one's ability, how long, I mean, to what extent can it help in passing examination? Believing in oneself, to what extent can that go in helping people pass examination?
Yeah, believing in oneself is very important in everything. I know we are concentrating on passing exam, but you know, sir, that these subjects or some of these principles that we are discussing also apply to success, even in life, right? Believing in oneself, having confidence, it is going to help you to even study in the first place as a student. So many people that don't understand certain subjects, it is not that they don't have the ability to understand those subjects. And this is what I have found personally. A lot of people would tell you, for instance, those in secondary school, subjects like mathematics, anathema for so many students. They run away from it like a curse. And they wish there could be a possibility of scraping that subject from exam timetable, and they should never encounter it again. And when you go deeper to make inquiry, why is it that people are running away from so different kind of subjects? You find out that it's not as if there is no ability in them to understand it. It is just that they have found a way to convince themselves that this subject is not for me. Mathematics is not my thing. And having drawn the line to the extent of what they can understand or not, the mathematics say, okay, you say I'm not for you, no problem now. Let us go our separate ways. And you find that people keep struggling relentlessly. They keep struggling with that particular subject. So I believe that in this sense, approaching a subject or approaching an examination with a mental readiness that I can pass this exam, it will help you. In fact, even the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You can't be beyond what you are thinking about. So that belief is very, very important. But I will also add, right, that belief, we have to explain this belief. Because there is something I discovered, sir. A lot of people overestimate the belief they have in themselves.
Okay.
Some people would now tell you, oh, what about this exam that is coming up? He said, it's in the hand of God. I believe that God will help us to pass. So this God will do it mentality, all right? That is where we must draw the line of belief. Belief plus preparation plus strategy is what gives birth to the success. But if you believe alone and yes, and you don't do something about what you believe, I don't know where God will come down from to make that success happen.
The Catholics will say that faith without good work is dead.
It's in the Bible too.
No faith.
Yes.
All right. Which reminds me, Petronilla, why does it look like external examination candidates now don't take it serious? Because you see them in the morning of an important course like English language or mathematics. You see them doing other things instead of concentrating on their table, preparing for the examination. Around 10 or 11 a.m., they are still wallowing about.
I think the first cause of that is they depend on expo. Because if you have an exam in the morning or you have an exam by 2 p.m., I don't know what else you will be doing that morning, if not doing your best to do your revision, look at the parts that you have not looked at. So for somebody who have an exam, let's say English by 2 p.m., and then the person is doing other things, the person is all over social media, the person has something that is giving him or her a strong mind. It could be that, oh, we know that the vigilators, we've settled them. They are going to allow us to do whatever we want, or they are going to bring in what they call Mbo, Expo, and then pass it around. Secondly, some people are beginning to lose interest in education. It could be as a result of maybe they have elder ones who have gone to school 4 years, 5 years, they are still looking for a job. So somehow it affects their psychology. When I entered university, when I finish, is this what I'm going to face? So if someone have an elder sibling who have gone through JAMB, WAEC, NECO, did excellently well, got into the university, finished, and person has a job, you'll be motivated. You want to be like that, your sibling. But when your sibling finished and still come back home every morning, she said he or she's going to look for a job, come back and there is no hope. Somehow, it has this multiplier effect on the younger ones. But then, for one who has an exam in a day and you leave preparation to focus on other things, it's either you already have a backup plan that something is going to come in through the window for you.
Which might not really come at the end of the day.
It may not come, and it may come and it will be the wrong thing, and then you're doomed.
All right, thank you so much. Stephen Chima, on a conclusive note, I want you to encourage the student outside there who has believed in himself or herself and has been doing well in examinations and other things.
Yeah, I don't know how much time I have to make this conclusion, but I will go straight to the point now. An aspect I think we were supposed to bring into this conversation was to really encourage people that things are changing and the world is moving so fast in virtually everything. This traditional system that encourages schooling and certification as the only means of relevance in the society, I think it is fast eroding. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. A lot of people are afraid to explore other competencies outside of schooling. They lock themselves up in a classroom and they believe that if I don't get this certificate, I'm not going to amount to anything. It is not true. Many people, like I said, are exploring other gifts and talents they have. The basic education, of course, everybody should have it. Everybody should know how to read and write. Everybody should understand simple arithmetics. But even as you are going to school, find a way to develop yourself in any other area that you find, oh, I'm gifted in this or I'm gifted in that. A lot of great people we know their names today, probably they didn't come to greatness by what they read in school. I just heard Dangote say yesterday that his drivers, probably the least level of workers that he pays, they earn 4 times Nigerian minimum wage, more than what any university graduate is learning. So that tells you the importance of skill. So apart from that, if you find out that you are in school, don't trivialize it, all right? If you want to be that doctor, that lawyer, that whatever, and you now are in school, make the best of what you have and come out excellently in it. But if you know that that is not your thing, don't force yourself. Find a way to get involved with other things that gives you satisfaction and helps you become a better person.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stephen Chima, a lawyer, a writer, personal development coach. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you so much, our chartered accountant. You're working with National Institute for Cultural Orientation, Petrolina in Chedo, Nagolo. Thank you so much. And our viewer, we also thank you for being there. It has been a wonderful time we shared with you. And they have nailed it, that you have other abilities outside classroom. But it's important, whatever you do at any particular time, do it and do it well. My name is Chukwamaka Obasi. You have a wonderful day ahead of you.
Aqua, water. Water is life. Ancient, sacred, pure. It remembers creation and carries cleansing. It can be calm or it can rage, but it always moves. Aqua teaches us to be soft yet strong, to adapt yet remain, to flow around obstacles yet shape even the hardest stone. We came from water. We need water, and sometimes When words fail and hearts break, only water falling from our eyes or washing over our skin can heal what language cannot.